Hi, I'm Reid, editor of the Edison Report, and we are here in New York at the Mount Sinai Light and Health Research Center Partners Day, and I am joined by my good friend Jerry Mix. Jerry, welcome.
Thank you, Randy.
And Jerry, you're on the Director's Council of the Light and Health Research Center.
I am.
So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you sitting with me. Now, Jerry, you've been around for quite a while, as have I. Tell our audience a little bit about some of the changes that you've seen that have affected the industry and what hasn't changed that should change.
I'd like to start with the latter,
Okay.
and primarily because I've been out of the industry for the last 2 years. So I'm not really up to speed on what has changed. My perception is probably not a lot over the last couple of years.
Okay.
Today I heard that there hasn't been a lot of innovation at Light and Build. I heard the same thing about Lightfair.
I would agree.
But what really interests me is that I believe that the work that they're doing here regarding light and health could be the catalyst to actually have change occur in the lighting industry. It's the opportunity that tying light with health, in other words, healthy living with good lighting, is a real opportunity for the lighting industry. And because my background is in it, I just figured it would be fun to be part of something.
Well, I can't remember who said it, but somebody was talking about, we always talk about for good health, you want nutrition and exercise, nutrition and exercise. And now we need to add a third one, nutrition, exercise, and good lighting.
Yep, that's right.
And I think that was very well put. So what are some of the things that the Light and Health Research Center is working on that you find exciting?
So they are quantifying the fact that with real results that good lighting actually creates positive outcomes in health. And I think across a big spectrum. And it's the research that Mariana and her team is doing in that space. And at some point it'll be enough that the market really starts to pay attention to it and move in that direction. To where we talk about what I call the real value in lighting,
right,
beyond energy efficiency.
Right.
Because
let's get beyond energy efficiency.
Yeah, well, energy efficiency is great, but it's kind of like that's yesterday.
Right.
And the future is light and health. I believe it works. I mean, I have it in one of my houses, where I wake up and it's 6,500 degree Kelvin lighting in the space, and at the end of the night it's down around 2,400.
Wow. Okay, and a lower light level, of course.
That lower light level too.
Well.
That's right.
What are your thoughts on what the Light and Health Research Center is doing regarding equity in lighting? This gets into that pulse oximeter.
Yeah, so I mean that's fascinating,
isn't it?
Yeah, that is, and that is really incredible stuff, right? And that's a good example of like positive outcomes. Okay, so without the research they're doing, we're having negative outcomes, which is something you really don't want. So it's really good.
Just for our audience, what they explained today, and I've heard it before, is they put the pulse oximeter on your finger, and they're using light.
That's right.
To measure your oxygen levels.
That's right.
And on darker skinned people, it's typically not calibrated, correct?
Correct.
And it will show that they have higher oxygen than they actually do.
By 2 to 3%.
Yeah, and so they may not get admitted to the hospital even though they should.
That's exactly
because
right.
that's how they're doing it. So they've done these studies where they do the pulse oximeter and then they actually bring them in the hospital and check the oxygen.
Right.
And they're seeing that 2 or 3%.
Yeah.
So I was just blown away by that, and good for these guys for bringing attention to that.
Right.
And it sounds like they've got a solution.
Well, they're going to prove out that their solution does work.
Yeah.
I mean, the early indications are is that it does, and now it's get more data to really solidify that.
Yeah, I do find that fascinating. Okay, can you tell our audience some other things that the Light and Health Research Center is working on?
So they're working on all aspects of this. I mean, I don't actually know how many projects Mariana has. It's all on their website. But Alzheimer's, dementia, newborns, teenagers. I mean, they're talking about
teenagers and depression. I find that interesting.
Yeah.
I find that really interesting.
Yeah.
And I do think with COVID, more teenagers are suffering from depression. I understand it's more teenage girls than boys. So if they can find a way that light can help with that,
That's right.
then
It becomes
I think,
it's becomes a prescription, right? So in other words, you know, it doesn't cure cancer, as Mark says, right? But if it actually provides health benefits to people, then that's something really, really, really cool.
and
It becomes way more valuable to everybody.
sure. And they do continue their work on the pathogens
That's
on
right.
plants and
That's right.
strawberries, and we got an update on that. And again, I just find that so important because if you don't have to use pesticides and you can use light instead, then that just
Or
makes everybody healthier.
less pesticides, right?
Right. I
And,
think that's
and
what they're
more
talking
light.
about.
That's right. They said a little bit of a combination, the results are even better.
Right.
Right? Yeah, so that's a big deal.
I did find
And
that
then they
interesting.
talk about what they're doing in greenhouses and
Okay.
and
So let's talk for a little bit about you. You've been retired for 2 years now.
2 years.
And you have had a multifaceted career in lighting. What are you doing with your time?
vacationing most of the time.
Okay. Well, tell our audience a little bit about that.
I go places. I like to have fun. I swim, water polo, ski,
Water polo.
surf.
Water ski or snow ski?
I do. I don't water ski. I wake surf
Okay.
and I snow ski
Okay.
and I play water polo and I swim. Those are really my 4 things.
Okay. Well, you've worked very hard in your career, my friend, and you have earned that.
Well, thank
so
you.
good for you.
Thank you,
All right.
Randy.
A pleasure talking with you.
Pleasure talking to you.